I feel like I should react and respond to this meta conversation and just say, I have a 15-year-old, and she doesn't understand Facebook. So, and what Anna said earlier was true, because for her, she doesn't feel like she connects. And so, as a businessman, I'm concerned that if that 20.5, 20.1 is the average age, and they're not on Facebook, I wonder, how do I connect with them? Okay? And so I guess my ask is, how do you help us bring those users into Meta, or give us tools to get to them? Because I know they're on WhatsApp. I know they're on WhatsApp, they're on other platforms. Give us tools to get to them where they are. The second ask, and I don't know if this is true for Anna or for other people like me who grow our brands online, is we're trying very hard to get verified, and we don't understand what are those criteria for verification. So tuambie tu ama to train, and tujue how to get into that space that allows us to gain credibility. I guess the businesses here also want the same. Yeah? We're going to go into a panel. Maybe some of these things will be answered in that panel. Is a few people, as I call you, please come up on stage. Is Philip Nyamoya, the co-founder of iPay. Philip has over 17 years experience in the field of product development, services, technology, marketing, and business development. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in computer science. Come up on stage, just come, Phil. From Jomo Kenyatta University, and a master's degree in software engineering from the University of Liverpool, UK. He's also the co-founder of Data Systems, an award-winning system integration enterprise productivity solution based in Kenya. He has very many other accolades, but also let me tell you, this guy plays the piano very well. It's true. He plays the piano very, very well. I know that because he used to play and I used to sing. Give a round of applause to Philip Tafadhali. Next on stage is Moses from .Savvy. He's the founder and CEO of .Savvy, Kenya's first digital business agency, which conceptualizes, develops, delivers, and manages high-performance business results from its clients via digital channels. .Savvy has been operational for 20 years, spearheading next practices across a broad spectrum of digital marketing offerings. He has very many previous other jobs. He has a lot of accolades. I'm trying to cut our time, but let me tell you something about Moses. Before any of us understood digital, this guy did. It's true, he taught all of us. So give a round of applause to Moses Kimibaro. I'm going to ask Mercy to come back on stage. Mercy was already introduced to you. You know that she is working at Meta. You know that she has a lot of experience with civil society, academia, and industry relations, government and industry relations as part of her job here. You also know that she's, or maybe you don't know, she's a mother of three, a passionate advocate for empowerment of children and women, and she also volunteers her time and resources towards mentorship and other charities and hobbies. Thank you, Mercy, for being here. On this panel is also Alex Mwai from Archer Digital, whose profile I don't have, I'm sorry, but let's just say he's the probably most sharply dressed person on that panel right now. Last but not least is Shiko Gitao. Now this one from Kala, I have a lot to say. Yes. So Shiko was my desk in primary school. Let me tell you, the truth is, she has established expertise in both African and emerging markets, specializing in solving problems in agriculture, education, health, payments, retail, and renewable energies, with over 10 years experience design, implementation, management of digital. Mike, Shiko has helped multinational tech companies solve various business problems, and right now she's heading a digital business called Kala. Again, like I introduced Joram, you know the way you can never see that potential in someone. It was not there in primary school. But God is good. We serve a living God. And that same Shiko is the one who is now going to take over this panel. Give a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
What a man, he didn't say that. It's on? Can you hear me? What Amani didn't say is that in Prima, I used to be bigger than him.
And cleverer.
So welcome to this panel. This is going to be a discussion, and we want it to be a discussion that you get something to go away with. And even when I heard the bios of these guys, I was quite intimidated. They're quite, movers and shakers when it comes to technology in this country. Yeah, I mean, Philip is running like the financial sector of this country. You've had Mercy, any .com URL that was sold in Kenya was sold by Moses. Even right now, if you want like changamsha.com, I'm pretty sure he has it. So he used to be that guy who went online and bought all the URLs and then sold it back to us. And Alex, I've had the pleasure of working with him. He's an amazing digital marketer and digital content creator. We did an amazing thing with them last year where we talked to the what's his name? Chief Defense Officer.
Yeah, I think his first media interview actually with the public.
Yes, his first media interview, the Chief of Defense Officer.
The Defense Officer.
Yeah, we did his first outward interview with them, and okay, this one matches with me. I like red. Okay, and we did with him, and we did a fantastic job. It's one of the most watched, I think, interviews we've ever done. So it's great to meet you. So we hear about digitalization, all these nice fancy words, and when Mercy comes here, everybody's thinking. Even Imani is trying to think, how do I get verified? But what does this actually mean? Yeah. Does this actually mean to a normal human being? So if you went out there and you said, here is 100K, tell me what is digital. And we're talking about 100K US dollars. What is digital? Would you be able to have an answer for that? So that is the first question I'm posing to my team here. And I'll start with the guy who has all the URLs. Moses, the OG of digital in Kenya. Ebu, tell us, what is digital? What is this digital thing everybody's talking about?
Thank you very much, Chico. So, what is digital? I think, as somebody who's been a practitioner in this space for over 2 decades, hence OG, I would say digital is not changing what you do, but changing how you do it. And the phrase I think we're using during and post-pandemic is digital transformation. The idea that if before, as I remember very clearly, you would go as an agency to meet clients in their offices, and in fact, if you didn't go to their offices, they felt it was insulting. Today, the same people tell us, don't come to my office. And that way we pack in 4 to 6 meetings a day instead of spending 4 hours in Nairobi traffic going for a meeting. So the most basic level for me, an aspect of digital would be the fact that we now conduct most of our meetings virtually and happily do so, customer and client, and we get more done in a day. So we've not stopped meeting, but how we meet is digital. Yeah, if we were shocked during the pandemic, for the first time, many Kenyans started buying products and services online. You today order your meals quite often online and have them delivered at home. So we're still buying the food, eating our KFC, but now we do it from the comfort of our home, and we do it happily so. So I think it's not changing what we do, it's changing how we do it.
I've always said digital is, I feel like a few small steps towards a bigger goal by using the mtandao, the internet, something that's internet enabled, or even your phone. The little small steps, maybe starting communication with your clients via SMS. That was also digitization. So for me, I feel it's the little steps that you use technology to help you. It's meetings, you use Facebook's, tools for marketing. It's using just something over the internet to continue the goal that you've always had. Yeah.
I'll jump to Mercy then to Philip.
Sure. In my layman perspective, because I'm not a techie, but I have only worked in tech, so I love tech with all my heart. I see digital as the way you integrate technology into everything that you do in a business, or in how you operate as a person, or in basically wherever you are, whether it's in business, it's in your profession, it's in your career, whatever. Being able to integrate technology in that makes it a digitalized business. So I think that is how I'd look at it.
Philip?
I have nothing more to say. I think it's been well said. Digital just means efficiency, speed of doing, whatever the operating narrative is, but with efficiency and with technology. And that's just pretty much it. So if you're not good at doing it already, digital won't help. You know, it will actually just accentuate a bad process. But if it's something that's, you know, already in play, communication, you know, entertainment, whatever, digital just widens your reach and just makes the whole process a lot more efficient.
Awesome. So the one thing that we want to talk about is how do we become resilient and be able to be stretchworthy regardless of where we are. And COVID taught us that we actually have more than we actually give ourselves credit for, yeah? And for me, I want to talk about COVID and digital and the resiliency that was grown, especially among small businesses. Now, I'll give an example. When we started at Kala, when we talk to people about digital, they say, yeah, it's a nice to have thing. You know, I remember us talking about productivity tools to an organization, and they're like, yeah, the licenses are so expensive. Yeah, we can talk about it. Let's continue this conversation. You know the way they tell you, let's continue these conversations, yeah? And then COVID hit, and like when people realized the serious thing on the 4th week of March, everybody was like, what was that tool you're talking about? And these are examples of how many, it took a shock in the world to get people to adapt into digital. But then how do you grow more resiliency without having like a shock into it? And I'll start with Philip about how do you as a small business use digital to grow resilience in your business?
Actually, I think, Shiko, the most important thing right now is to understand, and I think this is something we've all been taught in school, it's important to define our terms. And I think the key word here is resilience. Why is it important? What is it? And I think resilience simply means, you know, the survivability, you know, or the ability for you to be able to tide over certain happenings. And, you know, primarily speaking, for a small business, if COVID did not speak to you, you know, and show you how, you know, an extinction level event can wipe out your dream, can wipe out, you know, then I don't know what will. And the truth of the matter is that we know not what the future holds. And I think the whole point of resilience is planning for that uncertain future. And looking back, just looking at the statistics, because we are a payment services provider regulated by the central bank, and just looking at the statistics from 2020 into today, a good number of businesses did not manage to make that switch, that paradigm shift. They didn't manage to, you know, change. It was like the extinction of the dinosaurs. You know, you were once relevant, and then suddenly, you know, the ground shifts. And suddenly, you know, it's not that no one needs your services, please don't get me wrong, SMEs, but you are not ready to provide your services on the platforms where the cheese has moved to, so to speak. And I think so resilience is all about creating that plan now, preparing for the worst, but hoping for the best. Yeah.
Thank you. And it's not a Kenyan thing. So in the US, the retail market was wiped out. If you walk down a street in New York, you'll find many of your popular stores have been closed down. That real estate is basically shut off because everybody moved online. And because everybody moved online, and there are all these AR, VR ways of interacting with your nice dress that nobody sees the point of renting yet another real estate. So real estate was hit hard, and retail was hit hard. Moses, Ali always gives you credit for COVID-driven digital transformation.
Had it. COVID accelerated digital transformation.
Talk about to us, especially in the context of SMEs.
Yeah, I think for me, and I'm so delighted that I came to this conference. Joram, thanks for hearing the word when I saw your promotions online, and I'm glad. It was actually on Facebook, by the way, Mercy. So without Facebook and Joram, I'd not be here today. But I've become very passionate about the SME cause, and that's why I'm here today, because I feel never before in the history of digital in Africa, and this is a space I've worked in almost possibly close to 30 years, have we seen such great opportunity but such great adversity at the same time. And I think the thing we need to ask ourselves is, because of the pandemic, what happened to the consumer? How did the consumer behavior change? Where do they spend their time? When I look at the data sets, including the ones from Meta and so forth, we are now spending more time on platforms like WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, we have Twitter Spaces. All these things kind of accelerated during the pandemic. And I think for the SME, the call to action is, there's a sort of a mall not too far from where I live. Before the pandemic, there was thriving small businesses in that mall. Today, probably 70% of the tenants there are gone. Where we have our office, which we've not worked from in 2 years and 2 months, I think the majority of the tenants have left that building. Many businesses now are operating remotely, all right? We use Zoom as our operating system. We do things in the cloud. WhatsApp is incredibly critical. But when the consumer shifts, the question is, has your business shifted with them? And for me, the basics are, do you have an active, say, Facebook profile? I think in Kenya now, we're 13 million people on Facebook. Are you using things like Google Business Profiles, which allow you to have a profile and provide you information? Are you using Facebook ads, which are incredibly affordable to reach people at scale? So for 500 shillings a day, you can reach 700, several hundreds of people who can buy your product. LinkedIn doesn't even require you to buy ads. If you post content regularly and of good quality, people will respond to you. Are you spending time, even at this event, posting pictures and updates of what's happening? Because believe it or not, I think I was doing some training 2 weeks ago. I posted things on LinkedIn, and I have 3 customers on the back of that, to just an update on some training. So if you're not using the platforms where Kenyans and the world are predominantly active, then you as an SME potentially are invisible. And the worst thing that happens to an SME is obscurity. If nobody knows you exist, you don't even have a chance to get to the party. Let's even at the most basic level, even get invited to the party. But if you're posting content, adding value, telling people where you are and what you're doing, using platforms like WhatsApp, Facebook, which are free, let me just emphasize again, they're free, it doesn't cost you any money, then you potentially can leapfrog the issues you're facing. And for me, the cause then to the SME is very simple. Being digital is about being present where the consumer or the target audience is. And the platforms are free. So, use the platforms and be present where your target audience is.
Okay. Alex, bring this home for us. How do you make it? That is theory. We talked about resilience, digital, being where the customer is, the cheese has shifted, or it's the customer who's shifted, all that stuff. Between you and Mercy, how do you bring this real? If somebody is to walk out today and say, in that panel, I was given 3 steps to making this real, what would that look like?
Wow, that's a good one. For me, I believe that resilience for SMEs is thinking that you have 24 hours, so does your customer. So when you're thinking about building for them, it's building things that save you time. Why should they walk to your store and they can WhatsApp you? Why should they read a 30-page document when you can show them a video? Maybe, and so on and so forth. For me, resilience using digital platforms is simplifying everything for your customer and yourself, having easy order management, fulfillment, and things like those are everything about digital. As you can hear, most of the tools are actually being created and being given to the users for free, like the social media marketing tools that are there, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. Your customers are already there. 13 million people in Kenya alone, They can click through and buy your product. They can WhatsApp you back and say, this is what I want to do. So building resilience is trying to help your customer come home faster than they did before at any other time. So incorporating then the tools that will help them do that. If it's the Facebook shop, Instagram shop, if you're a service business, try go your LinkedIn way, try connect with people. You're being given the opportunity to do mass reach at scale with this. If, for example, Joram, who's our influencer at the Sandbox, if he posts, he gets about 5,000 views. It's like he's convened this conference any other day, like by posting. So your business also being given that opportunity. Invest in the time, understanding where your customer is going as well, where you are going as well. Save them time. Then now use the digital tools to simplify everything and now have an efficient business. Yeah.
Before Matthew, you jump in, I have another question. So I don't know how many of you know, Moses might know, Kenya has the highest WhatsApp users per capita in the world. You know what that means? It means for every 100 people in Kenya and 100 people in every other country, Kenya has the most WhatsApp users. I'm sure some of you, Gen Zs and triple A. I don't even think they're A's, they're double A's, they're triple A's. Your grandmothers are on WhatsApp and they send you photos of yeah? Okay, can you hear me now? So given the valority and velocity of WhatsApp, and we've done many studies and we've seen WhatsApp as a primary trade tool, but also WhatsApp is a closed loop environment. How do we help SMEs here expand beyond their 15,000 groups that they are in to the population of this? We could say 70-80% of Kenyans are on WhatsApp. How do we get these customers at the fingertips of our SMEs here?
Thank you for that question. I think leaning into what Alex was talking about, and Moses actually, and Philip earlier, I would say practical things to take away with you, in my view, would be two things. Number one, lean into communities. And when I say communities, we are very big about that. It's actually the mission of Facebook, to give people the power to build community and bring the world closer together. You're in business, you cannot survive solo. I think that message was very clearly articulated. Social media platforms provide you the opportunity to connect with others who are like-minded like you. If you do not have a business group or group that you could join online, when I say community, I mean a group of thing that you could follow of people with similar hobbies or interests. I follow quite a number myself. If I'm interested in things to do with real estate, I'll read about those or look up groups that talk about those. I'm a foodie, I love good food. I will join groups that talk about food, so I get new recommendations for restaurants. And I have people constantly asking, oh, how did you know about these places? I'm like, I found this on Facebook, I found it on Instagram. So lean into communities, and if you're not aware of any, you can create one yourself. Like start a community. There are many people who've said communities like a joke like that, and they continue growing the numbers consistently. So to the point of how do you make sure that you're leveraging the numbers? Because one of the things we realized as a company is that it was very siloed how you were using our platform. So you found that somebody was on WhatsApp, doesn't probably use Facebook, but has a Facebook page, doesn't use Instagram. And so we've integrated. Now when you look at any of those platforms, you see from Meta at the bottom. Have you seen that at least on the platform when you log in? We want to make sure that people, first of all, understand this is all from Meta, but also that we want to have a way that all of these are integrated to make it easier for you to connect with your communities across all of the platforms if you are on all of them, so that you don't have to keep doing that on each one. Which means if you've already built numbers on Instagram, but you don't really have numbers on Facebook, whatever you put up as an ad, for example, on Instagram, you can boost across to Facebook. You continue to reach a wider audience and continue to grow your number organically. The other thing is that in that integration, if you have a WhatsApp business number, which is really important to have, if you don't already, please, it's a simple download, just integrate WhatsApp business number. It allows for the people who are interacting with you online to reach you on the phone. So add your WhatsApp business number. It will be integrated for you automatically, so that when you run any ads, again, all of the users can be able to SMS you back and so on and so forth. So that's number one, community, link into community, being able to attend events like this, networking with one another. As business, I think it's critical, as is the case even with individuals in their social remit. But the second thing, and really important in my view, is improving your own capacity and awareness in understanding how to use digital tools. I feel like the tools are there. A lot of things are available for you to be able to use and scale your business, starting now as you're sitting in this room. But do you know enough about them? If you go to facebook.com and go to /learn, like LEARN, you'll find all of the different tutorials of how to create ads for yourself, how to track engagement, how to do all of these things across all of the different platforms. Those tools are there. I'm certain that it's the case across different social media platform owners as well. So think about how much are you investing as a business in educating yourself. All of these resources are free, but they really do help you. When you cannot be able to, to furthermore understand what is being said there, it's very simple. It has tutorials and videos, but if you still cannot follow that as easily, again, making sure that you're engaging in sandboxes like this, or with the likes of Wild or partners that we have on the ground. We have Wild International here in Kenya who help us with Meta Boost trainings, and they are regular. They are constantly, all the time we do them. Like I said, today we are launching one. If you want to have your business trained, please sign up. In addition, we have Her Hustle. That's the name of the company that we partner with for women who are in business. It gives you the Meta Boost flavor, but with now other aspects that are specific to women. Please do sign up for those. For the ones who are young and are thinking about how they can create an employable future within social media, we have Digify Pro. We have a partner called Digify Pro also here that helps us with that. So educate yourself, take time to read and learn about how to keep yourself safe, how to keep your account secure, avoiding hackings and things like that, but also how do you expand by engaging and leaning into the knowledge of others. And it doesn't have to be communities in Kenya. it can be communities anywhere in the world, really, which is the beauty of having global platforms at your fingertips.
Philip, I see you have something to add.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to address this to Amani, because I remember Amani was talking to Mercy and saying, "Oh, Sijui, Facebook is old school, and my 15-year-old daughter Nini." Yeah, but WhatsApp is Meta, just as Mercy has said, and it's so interesting, just to realize, tongue in cheek, Amani, but just how versatile the platforms are. And Sandbox has been mentioned, and I think they're doing an amazing job, Joram and team, especially with regards to empowering SMEs. Because sometimes, as Marcy said, you may go to the platforms, it's easy. You can go to facebook.com/learn, and for some of us who maybe have a techie background, it's fairly easy. But SMEs don't sweat it. Obviously, with the empowerment from organizations like Sandbox, there is knowledge transfer, which can be made easy. And I just wanted to give a case in point when we were all looking for that link. There was a link which we were being told, where's this link? It was right in front of us, but hardly many of us could get to it. And there's need for training, there's need for that engagement. And I think when SMEs come together like this, there's obviously discourse which happens, there's information transfer, and I think it's up to us to help each other become more resilient.
Yeah.
I think another thing I want to say is that I see a situation with a lot of SMEs where they'll get their niece, nephew, or daughter, I like to call them the ones with the dreadlocks and the tattoos, to do the social media. But I think even if you're 50 plus, 60 plus, please learn the platforms, learn how they work. I think she's being very modest. If you look at Meta and what they've got something called Meta Business Suite, right? It's a tool or platform that's built into Meta. It's free, and it connects Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp in one dashboard. Yeah. If you use WhatsApp, there's something called WhatsApp Catalog. It allows you to put your products and actually sell from WhatsApp. So in terms of, if you can just understand how those things work as a user, as a practitioner, and not just rely on your tattooed and dreadlocked daughter or cousin, you will actually learn that it's not that difficult and you can actually do it. And I think once you understand how it works, then you can also competently make sure that the way it's being done is being done properly. So I think that's also critical. Yeah.
Alex?
Also, just to close off on everybody's investing time, education, and knowledge on the platforms. I'd say as a take-home is that it's good to have a clear understanding of what you're coming to these digital tools to do, so that you can choose them well and understand them well. Just as you do an investment in your finance or your accounting, don't make that digital is just something you wake up and say, so today I have Facebook, I can post on it. Instagram, let's see what that does. It's a true investment in understanding what do you want to do on this platform. Then come and say, I plan, I put in time, I understand where things are happening and how it's happening, and then I do it. So a plan and knowledge is also good. The likes of understanding the social media pages and WhatsApp and all that is an understanding, then implement it with good strategy and do it practically, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Yes,
Chico,
Philip?
I just have one more point I wanted to bring up. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if, I'm sure you are aware, and forgive me, but there's an election coming up. And the question I would ask is, what are our resilience strategies? We always go through this uncertain cycle. What are your plans to be there, post, August 2022? How are you mitigating against maybe, the uncertainty of travel? You can't travel, you can't go to the office. How are your logistics, supply chains looking? Are you having conversations just beyond your little business, but across value chains to find out whether you will be able to offer service beyond this coming cycle? And it is an uncertainty, it's something that's unpredictable. But I think the whole conversation about resilience is, how can we then leverage digital to be able to be relevant, into the future? And I think that's the whole conversation, really. So it's one way of ensuring that we not only survive but thrive, because it's going to become the new normal. Uncertainty is the new normal.
It is a new normal.
Yeah.
So I have two more questions, but I wanted to give an example. When we were on that table and Anne was speaking here, and Moses was asking, what's her name? So I said, oh, just search for Anne Dives. And I was trying to get her Instagram page to show, but I saw Moses had already gone on Google and searched for her and tagged her and followed her. What does that mean? What does that say? That if you're a small business, if you cannot be Googled, you don't exist. Yeah? So Moses is going to be Anne's customer very soon, because why? We could easily Google her and find her on the first page of Google. Are we able to say that about your business? And that's like very practical example of how you get a business, because you are speaking on a panel and you're posting something and somebody Googles you and finds you. Now I want to speak, to just turn the conversation a little bit. It's all nice and warm. We are all employed by digital. We love it. But it's important to also point out that there are dangers in digital. And I want to start with, because I know Mercy understands this. Everybody talks about the Data Protection Act. What are some of the things that we need to, as small business, to look out for to be able to know that I'm not going to be fined this $50,000, or I'm not going to be sued by somebody because their data was exposed? What are some of those things that, very practical, what it is first of all, and some of the practical things that somebody can put in place?
Okay, I think I'll speak generally on the point of privacy, because I think that's where you're going with this question. Part of you educating yourself is understanding what the environment in which you operate. I think someone articulated earlier very well in terms of even having a knowledge of what are the laws of the land affecting your business or that could impact your business. Having clarity about what is expected from a data protection perspective, given that you're likely to be a data processor at one point or the other, is something for you to then know that there could be repercussions with how you're dealing with your customers' data or the people who consume your services, for example. So basics about understanding that is really important. But one of the things, I think, to just make it crystal clear and maybe simple is, are you collecting any form of data from your users? We've just come from speaking about the fact that more data might be useful or helpful for you as a business in strategically planning and so on. Are you collecting any form of data? If you are, then you're a data processor. Are you using any data to be able to shape or define your strategies or decide who you target? Means then you're processing data, you're a data processor, the laws would apply to you. Are you doing anything are you sharing any data with someone else? So for example, are you working with Carla or with Moses or somebody else to develop a platform for you where you're giving them data that you've collected through your own business? That is data sharing. It means you're actually also a data processor. So familiarize yourself with some of those laws that could impact you. On our part, I think if we're speaking about security, because I think that's a really, one of my passion areas actually in digital is creating digital security awareness. If you think about your social media account, 3 things that suggest that you take away with you today, and I won't be able to articulate them in great detail, but number one, the safety of your page is number one, because you don't want to also to be leading a community online, or you have a business page which is also transmitting content that is misinforming people, is graphic in nature, is pornographic, things like that. And I'm not saying them, it might look, I'm giving you examples of things we actually see on platform that you want to also make sure that your brand stands its own ground and is professional. So avoiding having that brand be the one that is also churning out content that is problematic, because that will turn off your customers or it could be problematic for you. So safety is really key. Familiarize with what the safety tools are within the platform. You could also be struggling with somebody who maybe comes on the platform, because users are users, and they will start to maybe throw insults. What is it you're selling? You start to get attacked, maybe bullied or harassed online. Understand how to report when you face something like that. Understand how to even take action yourself. There's basic things like blocking a person. These features are created with a lot of hours, coding hours that go into figuring out how to do that so that you can be empowered to safeguard yourself online. So blocking people is something you should be very happy to do. Leaving groups, people say, I've had many people asking, how can we leave without telling everybody that I've left? Mercy left. People don't want to be seen to be leaving. But I think it's also part of you being very firm about the position you hold, that I do not entertain this kind of content or the things that you're seeing on there. Feel free to leave groups, block people, delete, filter. I think filter is a really important one. I've seen, like now in the run-up to the election, I think, you're talking about the elections. You see a lot of content that is political or things that you didn't really care to have on your business page. Put out very simple filters, and it's just keywords of things you don't want to see on there. It could be the names of candidates you don't want to see being posted under your business content. It could be anything. And you can create your own filters. And it's a simple thing on the settings that you do. So if you go to settings on any of our platforms, you'll be able to create the filters. So anyone trying to come onto your page to comment on things that are irrelevant or already captured within the keywords you've captured in your filter, automatically their comments won't get published. So you don't have to come and do the hard work of coming to edit it out later. So safety is really key. Look at the safety resources provided to you on our platforms. The second thing is security. Basics, like you have a business page, you have decided to hire Alex to do for you content, social media campaigns, for example. But you've created him maybe as an admin on your page so that he can be able to edit and create content and post as though it's you or your business, you understand? Think about understanding things like admin roles, or rather the roles on pages. Not everybody needs to be an admin on your page. For example, if Alex is only there to promote content is created for you, give him the role of advertiser as opposed to admin. I've seen many people calling or texting me, and I'm sure there'll be some after this session, it happens every time, who said to say, my page was hacked or my page has been taken over. A lot of times it is conflict with the admin. Your business was small when you started with your dreadlocked cousin, as was being said by Moses, as your social media manager. The business now has grown. The dreadlocked cousin now refuses to give you back your account. They take hostage of your account. Those things are very common. Understanding how to assign roles on platforms is really key because it helps you to safeguard your account. But also regularly updating who is your admin. Keep checking so that you're constantly in control and are able to remove people as they change, because people do transition out of the business. Make sure you're familiar with those things. Enabling strong passwords, which is, I think it sounds basic, but it's very common to see people putting their birth dates as the passwords and so on. I think many people still do that. Making sure that you have a strong password is key, but also enabling two-factor authentication is really important if you're trying to avoid having hacking on your page. That's really important to just have activated. So familiarize yourself with security settings, see what it is, and again, all of these are shortcuts on the settings of all of our platforms. Check and familiarize yourself. The last one being privacy. Make sure that how you're processing data of people or displaying content regarding other people does not disclose personally identifiable information, which again, according to the laws, is very clearly detailed in terms of what that would constitute. So take your time to understand those, but also just familiarize with safety, security, and privacy on the settings that you have on our platforms.
Awesome, thank you. I want Philip, I know you want to jump in, but I also want to, there's this trending thing that is trending today about a guy who lost 2.6 million. And he was a small business person. I mean, losing 2.6 million, I'm seeing you, June, so I'm not ignoring you. I want us to talk about how do you protect your money, apart from your page. I mean, Mercy has given us, how do you protect your money? Especially, you've put two-factor authentication, you've used your SIM card, but what are the other steps that you can do to just protect yourself in this digital age? Plus your closing remarks as we come this way.
Okay, I think I'll start with my closing remarks, then I'll come to that point.
Okay.
The Office of the Data Protection Commissioner has been basically is in force. And it's interesting, I can see Safaricom represented here by Mr. Senanu, and we actually had an engagement with Safaricom as a stakeholder on the reduction of the information which is publicly available. I think Mercy has also talked about that. And those are some of the things which are actually going to affect SMEs significantly, because suddenly you won't have direct or complete access to the telephone number, for instance, of your customer, something which we have taken for granted and would use it as a point of engagement for market intelligence, after sales service and so on and so forth, which means that there has to be a little bit more intentionality with regards to SMEs getting that data consent, rather, getting data access consent from the users of or the providers of that information. So that's something also which SMEs need to unpack. And data privacy laws or the legal frameworks around that are actually happening worldwide. It's horrible, it's really limiting, but again, keyword resilience, how do we then, work within legal frameworks but still remain relevant. So I think that's something which I also hope the sandbox will unpack for its ecosystem. Now, to your point, by the way, that was very shocking. Even the police officer who lost 600K, it's ridiculous. And it was actually very concerning. And I think there's something on the Safaricom platform, and I stand to be corrected. If you dial *100#, I think you can actually enroll for the Jitambulishe technology, which means that nobody can do a SIM swap. Because what was happening is that obviously via some technology wizardry, these guys were able to or are able to take over your persona, your identity within the mobile network system, right? Systems are not perfect, obviously. So the question is, what can you do? And that's where you as a user come in to actually take charge. Go in, jitambulishe, and that simply means that nobody can do a SIM swap without your permission. You would have to walk into a Safaricom shop, for instance, and let them know that, yes, I am the one who has requested for this, or no. So those are some of the protections you can take. Another one is if you are processing payments digitally online, and you're working with payment service providers, just make sure that, number one, they're regulated. Number two, they have the requisite security systems, payment card industry, data security standards. They have all the standards around the transactional security and safety. Let's hope it's not your dreadlocked cousin, as smart as they may be. If you start making money, you may find that he's gone and bought a Lexus with your chums. So those are some of the things which you just need to make sure. And it's again part of resilience. How do I make sure that I'm working with organizations which are going to be here tomorrow?
So please use iPay, that's what he's saying. But also the one thing that I feel like most people are ignorant on, don't use public Wi-Fi when you're doing money transfer. In other words, if you're connecting to this network today, don't open your bank app.
Yeah. Yes. If you must, please use a VPN. They are there. There are very many VPN services online. If we do the Moses thing, just Google, check VPN services, and with that, you're able to also mask your identity if you really, really must. Otherwise, just use your mobile
data.
Use your mobile data.
Yeah.
Much easier.
Always default to your mobile data.
Agreed.
Don't ever use public Wi-Fi to connect to your banking app, even to your email, because somebody might use your email to access your banking app. That's just very simple hack for you. Moses?
I can see Angie's here.
I know, like we are seeing her.
So maybe some quick tidbits. So one of the things I see, because I've been building websites for over 2 decades, is one of the most basic things. Make sure your website is secure. Have SSL certificate. Very basic. They're free ones. They're paid versions. If the data on your website is compromised and you're capturing customer data, the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner will come for you. Yeah, and you have to report when you have an attack or you have a situation of that nature. Number two, 2FA. Two-factor authentication. There are tools like something called Google Authenticate. You can install that app on your phone. It authenticates and gives you a level of security. It works. The Digitalisation thing, yeah, it's a simple thing. It's available. It's free. Make sure it's there. The other thing that has happened in the industry is that it is now incumbent on you to start investing in building what we call first-party data. So what that means is that when you're dealing with customers' phone numbers, emails, and so forth, you want to start building first-party data because many of the advertising platforms today, including Facebook and Google, are now using a new approach where they're talking about consented data. You can no longer use what they call cookies. Cookies are going away. Cookies are they don't mean like a House of Manji cookie, but within the web browsers and mobile apps, cookies are ways of tracking the user. And that is all going away. So it means that you as an SME needs to start getting the first-party data, meaning phone numbers, emails, and so forth of your customers, but also making sure that that data is secure, right? But it gives you then the opportunity to market directly to your customers without necessarily relying on third-party platforms. So those would be my recommendations. Thank you.
Going last is always pressureful because they've all said all my points. Now I look like I have nothing to say. But again, to build on what everybody's saying, I think when we talk about two factors, that if you're living with a panel from tech guys with any one thing to do, is do that two-factor. Facebook pages are being hacked, or you just have an admin who was somewhere in there, you forgot about, they were hacked, your page ends up being hacked. So those small two factors are a big thing that we need to do in this day and age. I'll bring now my unique points that I had. Is with digital, businesses and individuals are, the transformation as we do marketing, businesses are facing the challenge of being too transactional. You open your page, you're on Instagram, and all you want to do every day for the rest of your life is to tell people, I have lip balm that is 100 bob, I have this 200 bob. Yet that is bringing down more and more things when people are saying we have challenges with engagement. It's because you have nothing to engage your users with. You're trying to just use the platforms to a benefit that's transactional. Yet, what is your business around, who are the people who run it, what are the things that are dear to the users that they would enjoy to see. Imagine if Sandbox just told us purely every day, Sandbox, we have expert 1, expert 2, expert 3. There has to be some value they have to tell us. I want to be on this Mtandao and follow you because of something. I'll move away from being transactional and build an authentic business. What you like as well. You know, you've built a business and that's why you lead it. There's things you like. You like the quality, the process, etc. You show your customers that's what you also care about and that's why your product is good. Then bring in this other time, you tell them that they can buy this good. On my third point is community, is that community aspect. We can still use these platforms to build some level of community engagement with our customers and they feel that they're at the center of why we're doing this digital products. Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. And for me, the closing one is that before COVID started, e-commerce penetration in Kenya was less than 5%. Yes. Now, we are almost 15%. We still have a long way to go. Yeah? We still have a long way to go, and it's people in this room who are going to help us get there, yeah? You need to stop Chris because he has platforms for this Chris Sinano, this one. He can help you like with that, with growing you as an e-commerce person or practitioner. So we have 85% of people out there who want to buy online but cannot be able to access online. Number 2, connectivity is becoming lower. We heard the other day that Elon Musk has already put their satellite out in Nigeria. Who is coming next? Kenya is coming next. So connectivity will be so cheap, everybody will have a connected device. So you have to be ready for that, yeah? And digital is providing for that. And we have the experts here and more of them sitting in this room who are able to connect you to those opportunities. So reach out to us, reach out to Joram, make his life easy, basically by adding more work to him, and make sure that you're online. He likes it, I know him, he likes a lot of work. Relaxing is not his major strength. So give him work, get him to help you get digital, and use this window in our life to actually grow your business, because Africa can actually change the world. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, my panel.
Thank you so much, Shiko. I was standing here to take the floor to defend the dreadlock and tattooed people because I am one, and I can promise you we don't steal things and we don't use your money to buy cars, although sometimes we do. Thank you so much for that panel, for all your generous nuggets of wisdom. One more round of applause for all of them, please.